2 years ago, I broke my brand new iPhone that I received for Christmas. I cannot tell you how pissed off my parents were, as they had bought it outright and did not get the insurance. So, as a punishment, I was responsible for buying my own phone. Well, I was 17 when this happened, and worked part-time at the local bakery. Let me just say, I had nowhere near enough money saved up to buy myself a brand new iPhone. So I had to go the alternate route. I saved up maybe $200 and started scouring Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I couldn't believe how expensive even the cheaper model phones were. But I stumbled upon an iPhone that was exactly $200. It was a little beat up, but the lister said it was carrier unlocked, and it would work. Desperate, I sent them a message, and we agreed to meet up. Now, my test for this is to always meet at the police station. If they do not agree, I won't go through with the sale. But in this case, the seller agreed, and I was able to buy the phone in a safe location. I was able to pop my SIM card into it, and everything was fully working. Well, not even a week into owning the new iPhone, things started to get weird. At night, my phone would just start ringing. When I would look at who was calling, there would be literally no number. It just said swipe to answer, but there was nothing to answer. This was odd. But what was even more odd was these calls started happening more and more at the same time at night, always around 2 in the morning. I brought this up to my parents, but they said it's most likely a faulty phone, and that's what I get for breaking the new one they bought me. What a bunch of help they were. Soon after the calls were coming in, then I started to notice other things. On my Safari browser, there would be websites pulled up that, 1, I had never heard of, and 2, I had never even accessed. It was like my whole phone was just bugging out. But then the weirdest thing that happened, at around 2 in the morning, I got a text. It was just like the phone calls. There was literally no number showing. But the text said, 18 of them, shipped across the border, coming back to get the rest. Bro, I cannot tell you how unsettling this was. I decided that I had enough of this piece of shit phone, and decided to reach back out to the seller on Facebook. I messaged him for a week straight, saw that he had read my messages, but he was ignoring me. Then, on a Friday night, that's when everything changed. I was sleeping in my room, and around 2 a.m. in the morning, there was this loud burst from downstairs. I'm talking, our front door was bursted open, and about 10 men came swarming in. It was a SWAT team. They literally had guns drawn and apprehended my mom, dad, and I, and started searching our entire house. I'll make a long story short. They were looking for my iPhone. When they found it, they hooked it up to this device and then took me and my whole family down to the police station. It was a whole nightmare. I had to explain to them that I had bought it off Facebook Marketplace. Apparently, that iPhone and the calls I was receiving were connected to some human trafficking group. I was mortified. Police eventually ended up letting us go, but they kept my phone. Honestly, I didn't even want it after what they told me it was a part of. I guess if I had learned anything from this experience, it was this. Please, be super careful when buying something online. If it seems like it's too good of a deal, it probably is. This happened at the end of last year, and I'm still trying to process everything. Christmas was around the corner, and the only thing that I wanted was the iPhone 15. My old phone was pretty much on its last leg. Crack screen, laggy, you name it. My parents knew how much I wanted it, and honestly, I did not ask for anything else. I was just hoping they'd get me the phone, and to my surprise and excitement, they did. I can't even describe how happy I was. As soon as I unwrapped it, I started setting it up and logging into my iCloud. It was sleek, fast, and everything I could have wanted. Naturally, I wanted to show it off to my friends. I was the first one in our group to get the iPhone 15, and I guess I was a little too excited. I didn't think much of it at the time, but one of my friends, let's call him Jake, seemed a bit off when I was showing it around. Jake did not come from a family with a lot of money. He was used to using prepaid phones, the kind that you buy at Walmart. I noticed his face when I showed everyone the new iPhone. He looked annoyed, almost angry. I thought maybe I was just imagining things, and I did not mean to rub it in his face. I was just excited, you know. A few nights later, I was dead asleep when I woke up to this noise in my room. It was a soft thud, followed by what sounded like a creak. I lay there for a second, trying to convince myself that it was just the house settling or maybe the wind. But then, I heard it again, and this time, I knew it was coming from inside my room. My heart started racing as I slowly opened my eyes. The room was dark, but I could make out the shapes of my desk, chair, and other furniture. That's when I saw it. This shadowy figure standing in the corner of my room. My stomach dropped as I realized it wasn't just a shadow. It was someone. Before I could even react, the figure bolted towards my desk where my new iPhone was charging. It took me a second, but I recognized him. It was Jake. He grabbed my phone, raised it over his head, and slammed it down into the desk. The sound of metal and glass shattering filled the room. Then Jake screamed out in what I can only describe as pure anger. I just lay there, frozen in complete shock. Jake didn't say anything else. He just turned and ran out of my room, down the stairs and out the back door. I could hear him running across the yard. My parents woke up from the noise and rushed into my room. They saw the mess and asked me what happened. I could barely speak. I was still trying to process what I had seen. We went downstairs to check the security cameras. Sure enough, there was footage of Jake sneaking into our house through a back window. He moved so silently that the cameras barely caught him. My parents wanted to call the cops, but I begged them not to. I didn't want Jake to get in trouble. I was more confused than anything. The next day, we told Jake's parents what happened. They were furious, but I don't think much happened to him. I didn't see him in school for a few days after that, and when he did come back, things were different. We did not talk, and eventually we just stopped hanging out altogether. It's weird. We used to be so close, and now it's like I don't even know him. I don't know what's going on in Jake's life that made him do something like that. Maybe it was jealousy, maybe something else. All I know is that I've lost a friend, and every time I look at my new phone, well, my replacement phone, I can't help but think about that night. So, yeah, that's what happened. I don't know if I'll ever really understand why he did it, but I guess some things just can't be explained. cousin Lena passed away a month ago. She was only 23, just a few years older than me, and honestly, more like an older sister than just a cousin. We grew up together, and she was the one I'd go to for advice, the one who'd listen to me rant about school or whatever guy I had a crush on that week. She always had time for me, no matter what was going on in her life. I didn't make her funeral. I had my reasons, mostly personal stuff that I'm still not ready to talk about, but it kills me that I wasn't there. One of our things was FaceTiming late at night. It was usually around 2 or 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep, and we just talk about everything and nothing for hours. Those calls kept me sane sometimes. After she died, I found myself staring at my phone late at night, wanting to call her. I never did because, well, what would be the point? But last night, I was feeling extra low. The house was dead quiet, and it was one of those nights where sleep wasn't coming no matter what I tried. Out of habit, or maybe just desperation, I pulled up Lena's contact and hit the FaceTime button. I knew it wouldn't go through. I just wanted to see her name on the screen, I guess, to pretend for a second that she might actually answer. Except, she did. I'm not kidding. The call connected. My heart jumped into my throat, and for a second, I thought I was imagining things. But the timer started counting up, and there it was, Lena's name at the top of my screen. At first, all I saw was black. I figured maybe it was a glitch, like the camera wasn't working or something. But then I noticed a faint light, just enough to see the outlines of what was on the other side. It was a coffin. Her coffin. I could see Lena's body, perfectly still, wrapped in that blue dress that she was buried in. My hand started shaking, and I swear I almost dropped my phone. I wanted to hang up, to throw my phone across the room, but I couldn't move. I just stared at the screen, my eyes glued to Lena's body. And then I heard it, my own voice coming from the phone, like an echo. Lena, it said, but not like I was speaking right then. It was like a recording of something I'd said before, but it was coming from inside the coffin. That was it. I hung up so fast I almost broke the screen. I sat there in bed, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might explode. I didn't sleep at all after that, just laid there staring at the ceiling, trying to comprehend what had just happened. This morning, I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I went to see my aunt and uncle. I did not tell them what I'd done, just asked them about Lena's phone. They said it was buried with her, like she wanted. They didn't think it was weird or anything, just a part of the things you do when someone you love passes away. I haven't told anyone what happened. I don't want people to think I'm losing it or, worse, that I was being disrespectful. But I keep replaying it in my mind, trying to figure out if there's any logical explanation. I tried calling again, just to see what would happen, but now it doesn't even ring. The call just fails like the phone's turned off, like it probably should be after all this time. But that first time, I don't know. I can't stop thinking about it. Seeing Lena like that, it's haunting me. But at the same time, it's like a weird kind of closure. I just wish I understood what the hell happened and why her phone answered in the first place. Hey, what's up guys? It's Spooky. If you've made it this far, Congratulations, you survived. If you did not know, I have an Instagram. Follow me on there so we can connect. I also have a Patreon. On there, you'll have direct access to me and can see the upcoming videos, polls, and soon-to-be exclusive stories only shared on there. If that's something that interests you, please consider joining. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Stay spooky, and I'll see you in the next video.